Hello and welcome to our video on the unit circle and how to find angles in quadrants 3 and 4. Now you'll remember from our previous video that the unit circle is a circle with a radius of 1. So I've labelled here 1, 0, 0, 1, it's 1 all the way across here. Previously we have looked at quadrants 1 and 2. I'll just number them again for you here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we looked at quadrants 1 and 2 and we talked about how to find any angle in quadrant 2. We could find a reference angle back in quadrant 1 that would help us to find the sine, cos or tan of that angle. What we found out about quadrants 1 and 2 was that all sine, cos and tan were positive in the first quadrant and only sine is positive in the second quadrant. In this video we're going to look at the other two quadrants, quadrants 3 and 4. So I'll just add this information here again. We've got quadrant 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we know they're all positive there and sine is positive there. And I can tell you, and this is something that you need to remember, that quadrant 3 is tan positive only and quadrant 4 is cos positive only. Now there's a few ways to remember that. You can, even though we start at 0 degrees here and go up and around this way, put that arrow in to remind you which direction we're heading. If you start from here with the letters, it makes a word, C-A-S-T, and I've highlighted that here for you. Some people find it easy to remember that. You just need to remember to start in quadrant 4. Otherwise, if you'd prefer to start in quadrant 1, you can use a mnemonic, which is a sentence that has one letter from each, one word starting with each letter that you need. So the example here I've got is all stations to Central, and it's talking about a train that's stopping at every stop all the way to Melbourne Central in the city. So it would go all stations to Central. I don't mind how you remember it, but you will need to remember those 4 letters and which ones are positive in which quadrant. You might like to make up your own method, that's completely fine as well. Now, if we're looking at finding a reference angle in quadrant 4, which is this one down here, the reference angle that we need to find is 360 degrees, so this whole way around here, because this is also 360. Take away whatever angle you're trying to find. And I'll explain that in an example. So our example here is cos of 300. When you're trying to find an angle, should have a degrees on there. When you're trying to find an angle, you need to take the following steps. First step is to draw a quick sketch of your unit circle and draw in where your angle is. So we've got 300 degrees. And we can start from 0, go all the way around here, and 300 will be in quadrant 4. Second step, add in your CAST, or however you choose to remember it. So remembering all the way around here is 300. I'll just label that. You don't need to label it, I'm just labeling it for the video. And the reference angle we're trying to find is this one in here. Because if we have that angle, it's going to be the same as this angle in quadrant 1. So let's have a look at how that looks. So 360, take away whatever this big angle is, will give us this little one here. So cos of 300 will be, first of all, we're in this quadrant. Cos is positive, so we don't need to put a negative. We just keep it as cos. 360 take away 300, which equals cos of 60 degrees. And this is an extra step that we haven't talked about before, but now we can find cos of 60 degrees without a calculator. So just using our tables, we find that that equals 1/2. And if you'd like to check that on the calculator, you can type in cos of 60 or you can type in cos of 300 and you should end up with 1/2. Let's have a look at quadrant 3. For quadrant 3, our reference angle is whatever your angle is, so this angle here, minus 180 degrees. Let's look at how that looks in the example. If we draw it, so it's tan of 210, it's in quadrant 3 down there. So 210 is this whole bit around here. But if we can just find this little bit, it will be the same if we flipped it around as that little bit. So it will give us a reference angle in quadrant 1. So let's go. First step, draw your diagram. I'll draw a separate diagram so we can see it to solve this one. Second step, draw your angle in, 210. Third step, cast. And we can see tan is positive here and it's tan, so it's all good. We don't need any negatives. So now we can do tan of, because it's in this quadrant, 210 take away 180. Which equals tan of 30 degrees. And looking back at your reference table or using your reference triangles, tan of 30 is 1 over square root of 3. I have 3 more examples here. I'll just make sure they're all on the page for you. You might like to pause the video and have a go at doing these 3 examples. Otherwise, you can keep listening. Example 3, sine of 330. Quick sketch, 330 is going to be here. Cast. So cos is positive here. So we need a minus sign. And because it's in quadrant 4, we can do 360 take away this angle. 330, which equals negative sine of 30 degrees. Use your tables, look up sine of 30 and you'll end up with negative 1/2. Example 4, cos of 225. This one is in quadrant 3. So we're going to use theta minus this angle minus 180. This is cos, only tan is positive, so this is going to be negative cos of 225 minus 180. Negative cos of 45. And if you use your tables, you'll find that equals negative 1 over root 2. Final example here is a bit different, bit of a challenge, but I think you guys are up to it. And we said that if we go all the way around, we get to 360 degrees. But what if we keep going? So if we keep going a little bit more. Some people like to think of that as quadrant 5. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, then we kind of start going around again, quadrant 5. But really it's the same as quadrant 1, so you can call it quadrant 1 or quadrant 5. I don't have a problem with that. And we need to use 300 theta, the little angle, because this is 420, it's going to be up here. We need to use theta, take away 360, and it will give us this little bit in here, which will straight away give us our reference angle in quadrant 1. Easy, so let's try it. Hang on, let's check which ones are positive. They're all positive in quadrant 1, so we don't need to do any negative signs. Cos of 420 take 360, which is equal to cos of 60, which when you look up in your tables equals 1/2. Thank you for listening.